All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. And for the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV, visit www.simultv.com. X Zone Nation, my guest this hour is a gentleman who is going to be talking about, oh my gosh, everything from world sanity. In fact, that's the name of his book, The Struggle for World Sanity. And this is what we all need these days, is a little bit of sanity. We're going to be talking about UFOs and a little bit about much more, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. My guest is WAJID HASSAN, from Pakistan to England and then settling in America. WAJID has lived on interesting and a varied life in many fields of endeavor, from a technical background as a field service engineer to stand-up comedian with over 20 years as a union actor doing voiceover, narration, commercials, as well as TV and movie roles. He also encompasses over 40 years of experience in the field of metaphysics, healing, spirituality, and New Age concepts. Joining me now is WAJID HASSAN. And WAJID, welcome to the X Zone.
Hey, Rob. Good to be on your show.
So you've got quite a diverse bio.
Yeah, I've been here, there, and everywhere.
So
one step ahead of the law. You were the cop, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but we've got you now, pal. We've got you now. Did you hear the knock on the door? Finally got you. Listen, how did you get into the realm of metaphysics and everything within that you encompass?
I'm a firm believer in reincarnation and past lives.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was something that was with me as I was born, and it was just a case of it being opened up. I mean, I was born in Pakistan. My parents moved to England when I was 3. I lived in the north of England. Then we moved to London when I was 10. And then, I was raised, as a Muslim. Mm-hmm. I went to the mosque, did the Arabic prayers, read the Quran. But at the same time, I also went to a Church of England schools. In those days, there was Bible studies, prayers, hymns, carols. And so I got both of Islam and Christianity, and I don't put down any particular religion, and I have nothing against Islam or Christianity. Sure. But at the age of 16, I found my own yogi master by the name of Dr. George King, who I decided to follow, and I've been following him ever since. And aspects of metaphysics, New Age philosophy, spiritual healing, I've learned along the way, and it was something I did on the side on top of my career. But now with the publication of the book, I can openly go on and discuss it openly, which is something that I've always wanted to do anyway. So that's really how it began.
Now, Dr. George King is no stranger to us here in the X-Zone because he founded the Atheria Society. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yes, and we've had Chrissy Blaze on. We've had Chrissy Blaze
and Richard Lawrence
yeah.
on before
Yeah.
as well. I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
The listeners may be quite aware of the teachings and the missions of Dr. George King.
So you wrote a book called The Struggle for World Sanity. Tell us about that.
Well, these days, we're on a crossroads. It's for sure. We have these endless wars. We've got an economic system that's favoring the rich, while the majority are staying poor. We've got pollution, and it just goes on. We got races fighting races. We've got religions against religions, and it is a struggle for world sanity. And the reason I wrote the book was not only to talk about some of my personal mystical spiritual experiences and my experiences with my yogi master, Dr. George King, but also, revealing the past and the present and what our future holds, and to draw on some inspiration for your listeners, to let them know that despite the world conditions as they are now, things will be better in the future. And so that was the main aspect of it. Of course, the mainstream media is always churning out gloom and doom.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
And so, shows like yours and others, give people like myself an opportunity to let people know that, there are certain aspects of truth which people have not heard of, and they need to hear those aspects of truth, use their intuition, use their discrimination, and find out, the truth from the molding which we've been accustomed to over centuries now. We're walking around like zombies, and I think the time has come where this struggle is going to be open. And I think one aspect of the struggle that's going to help mankind, of course, is the Aquarian age. We are in the Aquarian age, and there is a shift of consciousness that's occurring, an awakening that has not happened before for many, many centuries.
That is so true, and I agree with you 100%. You see, here at the X-Zone, we've been doing this show now for 32 years. And our first tagline, and it's still our main tagline, is where fact is fiction and fiction is reality.
Right.
But a couple of years ago, we also added another tagline that says, searching for answers, demanding the truth. Because everyone out there, and I'm talking about the people who like to sugarcoat everything. You ask them a question, they don't give you an answer. They should all be players for the NHL because they skate so well. So what we try to do here is get to the real answers. And I believe in today's society, this is what the job of mainstream media really is get to the real answers. And in my opinion, the real answers are found in guests who do not go into the doom and gloom. There's enough negativity in the world. I believe that guests like yourself have the ability to let the listeners know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not an oncoming train. So thank you for sharing with us tonight.
Absolutely. And, in my book, I described that, that the greatest lie detector ever created was our intuition. And we are being bombarded now astrologically with inspiration, not only from the Aquarian age, we're getting inspiration from higher sources, higher beings. And, of course, one aspect that, again, the mainstream media doesn't talk about is our living, breathing Mother Earth, who herself is changing and rising and raising her vibrations. And it's really interesting, Ron. They're having the the COP26 conference in Glasgow, the UN conference where the major countries are going to come forward.
Right.
And I'd like to discuss that with you because it really it's really profound that they're talking about climate change and they're talking about pollution and and emission control and economic things that they need to do, but they've lost sight on the major truth that the whole world needs to know, which only the indigenous tribes and people with open-minded philosophies and people who actually had experiences, but they miss the bottom line, which is we live on a living, breathing goddess, which we regard as Mother Earth.
All right, stand by with that, my friend. You and I have to take our first commercial break. And I agree with you 100%. I really do. Exonation, our guest this hour is WAJID HASSAN, and we're going to be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue this hour here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. Now, if you'd like to find out more about our guest this hour, visit his website, WAJIDauthor.com. That's WAJIDAUTHOR.com.
Just like I need you. Hold me, love me, hold me, love me. I ain't got nothing but love, babe. 8 days a week. Love you every day, girl. Always on my mind. One thing I can say, girl. Love you all the time. Hold me.
We hear you're leaving, that's okay. I thought our little wild time had just begun. I guess you kinda scared yourself, you turn and run. But if you have a change of heart, Ricky, don't lose that number. You don't want
And welcome back, everyone. WAJID HASSAN is our special guest. His website is WAJIDauthor.com. All right, let's continue the conversation about Mother Earth because I agree with you 100%. In fact, I'm one of the very few people who believes that Mother Earth is using COVID as a way to shake up the population and saying, hey, you've been screwing me around so long. I look at the way that they take oil and natural gas out of the earth, and to me that's just like taking bodily fluids out of Mother Earth. So of course she's going to react. The pollution, of course she's going to react. Look what they're doing to the oceans. It's crazy. And like you said, no one is looking at the real picture where we are living on a breathing Mother Earth. She's real, and yet they don't accept it.
Yeah, and that's the crux of the matter. We've, of course, if you understand the law of karma, action and reaction being
Yes.
opposite and equal.
Yeah.
We didn't come here to suffer, Rob. You know that we came. This is this beautiful classroom that she gave us to rise our consciousness, to go into deep mystic states of, cosmic consciousness and samadhi and ascension. And this is the classroom that was given to us when we took over, when we reincarnated on her body 18 million years ago. And you're right, mankind, we're getting back as the Master Jesus said, as you sow, so shall you reap.
Right.
So the conditions that we've created are all our own doing. And one of the biggest cosmic crimes that we are committing is this, like you said, is this rape and pillaging, blowing up
Yeah.
bombs on this
Oh,
beautiful planet,
yeah.
raping our resources. And how many times has mankind even considered giving back
Not
to
once.
this goddess who, Dr. King said something which was so profound. He said the most sacred, the most holiest, the most divine being
Hmm.
that you will ever touch in all your lives to come is the ground beneath your feet.
Well said. Very well said. But once again, when we look at what we're doing to our own species here on this planet,
Right.
Mother Earth is being raped. She's just being desecrated. But not only Mother Earth, but members of our own species. Look at the people in Africa that are starving. Look at the people around the world that don't have clean drinking water. Look what we're doing to our children. Look what the electronic industry and the iPhones and the social media networks, how they're
Terrible.
manipulating mankind.
Yeah.
And no one will do anything about it.
Well, that's, again, that's where we talk about the light at the end of the tunnel, that there are, I believe, and a lot of open-minded people believe that there are higher cosmic beings that have, people call them extraterrestrials, people call them people that man the UFOs or whatever. But
Angels.
I definitely
Yeah.
believe that, my yogi master was in contact with these higher spirit, not only technically advanced, but also spiritually advanced, millions of years ahead of us. And some of the teachings that they put through Dr. King talked about the Mother Earth and what she's going through. But what happened on July the 8th, 1964, the cosmic beings that kind of look after us or observe us, they actually sent tremendous amount of spiritual power into the goddess Earth, which was called the primary initiation of Earth, where she received these tremendous energies. And she has been told now by the higher beings to raise her vibrations and take her rightful place. She's held her own evolution for over 18 million years in order, over the centuries. I mean, it's been told that she's flipped her axis twice.
Yeah.
Once after the destruction of the atomic destruction of Lemuria, and then the second time after the atomic destruction of Atlantis. She flipped her axis and cleansed the whole human race. So don't take Mother Earth for granted. She may be beautiful and compassionate beyond belief, but one flip of her axis can completely wipe out mankind.
And then, of
And
course, in the Bible, it also talks about the great flood that cleansed the
Yes.
earth back then. So it's not as if we haven't received enough warnings throughout history. One of these days, she's just going to get ticked off, and I'm afraid that the consequences are going to be grave. But I believe, like you, that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And how do you see, based on the teachings of Dr. King, that this will happen?
Well, after this tremendous initiation she received of these cosmic energies, she had the choice at that time to release them and take her rightful place in the heavens, and she decided not to, because it would have meant completely destroying the whole of civilization if she did that. So every year, she's slowly releasing these energies, and climate change, as there's a small aspect of climate change that's got to do with pollution, but again, the mainstream media and the governments of the world are not openly declaring this, but the ionosphere is gradually being taken down. these tremendous climate changes, what Dr. King said, and the cosmic beings that spoke to him, are part of this rising of vibration of Mother Earth. And so this back in the 50s and 60s, they said that there would be tremendous weather upheavals, which are occurring now. So they predicted them before they even started. And what they're saying is that eventually, over the centuries, there will be an ambient temperature. There will be no seasons. Spring, summer, fall, and winter will be gone, and there will be an ambient temperature. And these are just parts of this change that are occurring. And again, there are tools that we can use in order to help this change. But unfortunately, the pollution continues and the rape continues. And it's appalling, absolutely appalling. And you know, I was on another show with a good friend of mine, Calvin Schwartz, and we had a panel talking about the living, breathing Mother Earth, and we discussed aspects of why she's raising the vibrations and what mankind has to do now in order. We've reached the crossroads. We've reached the crossroads. It's either change or leave. It's come to that point, Rob.
You know, when you were talking about the 1965 Mother Earth having the choice of
64.
I'm sorry, 64, and the choice that Mother Earth had, and she decided instead of annihilating everybody that, you know, she would give us another chance. It reminded me of the Book of Revelation, the end times, and a lot of people think that the Book of Revelation is the end of the world, and I personally believe it's the awakening.
Yes.
The death of the old way of thinking and the rebirth of the new way. And and I must be honest with you. When I had my accident and I was in the hospital for so many weeks, it gave me time to reflect on many things, on many things. And I would watch the news, and I saw how slanted a number of the news outlets were. And it was all negative.
Yeah.
And then I did a little bit of research, and even on internet social platforms, there is subliminal messaging going on.
Right.
So you're not safe. So I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. I'm glad that the Ethereal Society is doing what they're doing. And I'm glad that other people around the world are taking responsibility and getting the message out there, because we can make a difference.
Yeah, we need to let, you know, the United Nations and the COP26 attendees know that it's not about economics, it's not about materialism. It's about what's really happening to the Mother Earth and her change. And no matter how much they try to reduce carbon emissions, they're not going to change this climatic change that's occurring right now, this upheaval. And it's a part of her raising her vibrations. And you know, it was, I think the Mayan calendar finished in 2012, but it wasn't the end of mankind. It was the beginning of a new era for mankind.
All right, stand by, WAJID. We've got to take our news break. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but these are hard breaks. I can't get around them.
Absolutely.
All right, stand by, my friend. Exonation. WAJID HASSAN is our guest. WAJIDauthor.com is his website, and we'll both be back on the other side. And Exonation, everyone listening to us around the world tonight, tomorrow morning in some parts of the world, you can make a difference, and we'll tell you how. Don't go away.
Earth changes, you're cracking me up. I'm starting to hear about all sorts of weird stuff. It's the bombs, it's the comets, it's the dark days upon us. So say the folks who all quote Nostradamus. Earth changes, oh prophets of doom. It sounds like disaster is your favorite tune. If it makes you feel better, get it out of your system and tell us about the next big cataclysm. if it's like they said, then there's no use hiding out under your bed. But don't get depressed and run off to the bottle. The earth's trying to tell us it's time to remodel. Earth changes, earth changes. Less greed would be nifty and house up our peace for a big polar shifty. A whole lot more love and a big dose of patience. Coming alive to the joys of creation. Earth changes, and so can we. For all of the changes are in you and me. With so much sweet love, is it really surprising? A new earth is dawning upon the horizon. Earth changes.
And welcome back. That is Earth Changes by Michael Horn, and I think Michael did a fantastic job on that song rendition. And for those of you who may not know, Michael Horn is also the North American representative for the Billy Meyer Society. Great work, Michael. Love your song. Exonation, my guest this hour is WAJID HASSAN, and his website is wajidauthor.com. First of all, WAJID, thanks so much for coming on the show. And I think Michael kind of said it all.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because the answer, I believe, is within each and every one of us. And we just need to let the people who have the ability to make the decisions understand how the people feel and what the people want. Sure, I understand that they really aren't concerned about a lot of things except making more money. This whole thing about carbon emissions, to me, is just a smokescreen to appease the people. Because if you want to make the changes, they can. But there's too many people with deep pockets who will not let that happen because it's going to mean a loss of a lot of money. It's just like wars. Wars are cash cows for the industrialists. Unfortunately, it's people like you and I and the millions and millions and millions of other people around this beautiful blue ball of earth that we call home who suffer because of greed, corruption, and people who really don't give a damn about Mother Earth.
Well, I think, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm finished. I'm getting off my soapbox right now.
Yeah, you know, one of the cosmic beings that spoke through Dr. King back in September 27th, 1956, he said this. He said, he was talking about me, you, and other people who are rising up. He said, "This I will say to you, to the glorious few, the time will come, dear friends, when you will be able to speak out, and when you will have the platform of authority given to you. Have no fear of that. We will not let you down." And avenues are opening. One thing that came into mind when you talked about all these things are happening is that we need to address the issue again that we're all one. We're all part of the human race. And so all the atrocities that are being occurring are all aspects of us, you know. And so what the cosmic beings said through Dr. King was that the next revolution is going to be a mental revolution, a peaceful mental revolution. And that's what's needed. No more bombs, no more pollution, you know, a spiritual solution to not only the pollution that's occurring physically, but, you know, the mental pollution around the planet, the hatred, you know, the jealousies, I mean, all these thoughts are real, and they're surrounding the mind belt, and we have a murky mind belt that needs to be transformed. And so again, the solution has to be a rise of consciousness from, again, a few spiritual pioneers who are willing to stand up and say, no, this is not right. You can't continue with materialism and profits over the safety of the younger generation to come, and of course over the safety of our beautiful planet, Mother Earth.
You know, the we group, on all the social medias made a difference. Black Lives Matter made a difference. And yet nobody's doing anything to protect Mother Earth.
Right, and again they're going again on the environmental
Yep.
aspects of it, which is the minor part of it. The main part is recognition, openly recognizing that we live on a being that is so advanced as to be eventually created as a planet, an amalgamation of extremely high cosmic beings that got together and eventually got to the high evolution. I mean, we're talking about billions and billions of lives ahead of us in evolutionary terms that we live upon. And she just keeps giving, she just keeps giving without asking anything back in return. And what have we done to her? We just keep continuing this terrible destruction, which is continuing. But the law of karma states that I mean, you look at civilizations, you look at any civilization that came up by force, they all went down. The Nazis, the communists, the fascists, the Roman Empire, anything that was built by force, all came eventually toppling down.
Yeah.
So I think, when it comes to karma, once that anvil is changed, there is no force on the planet that will stop it. And this start of this spiritual awakening with mankind, it's already, the new age has already been seen. It's already here. And it's a case now of either we conform to it, where in the next 1,000 or so years, there will be a new age where there will be no wars, there will be no economic system, there will be no religions or races. That has been prophesied. That is going to happen. It's just now we're being asked, either we raise our vibrations and help change not only mankind, but also give back spiritually to our Mother Earth. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, they had these terrible fires, there's terrible fires all over the world now, but I think there was also a hurricane that was ascending towards the East Coast. And, there was talk about destruction and everything. And Marianne Williamson, she was running for president at the time, and she got on the media and she said, pray to this hurricane, and everybody made fun of her to the point where she had to take that Twitter tweet down. And she said exactly the same. What she said, what was exactly needed in order to bring that hurricane down was what the Native Americans do in situations like droughts. They do rain dances. They send energies to the nature spirits. People are not even aware of these aspects of nature. And if the media would have turned around and said, yes, send energy to the nature spirit that controls this hurricane, it would have brought the hurricane down and stopped the destruction. And that's an aspect of truth again that needs to be opened up again, is the Devic kingdom, the nature spirits, our energies that flow through us. What we have to do as spiritual beings is send energy to the nature spirits. And if 1 million people did that tomorrow, most of the extreme climate conditions that are occurring right now would be diminished at least 80-90%. And again, on an aspect of truth, which is again so beautiful that nobody's even discussing about.
Well, maybe you and I should do something about that. Get people listening to the show around the world to pray.
Well, I belong to a group of people. We're getting strong. We belong to about 30, 40 different countries around the world, and I'm online with them every day, and we're doing exactly what you said that needs to be done. And if people want to join us, they can just go to the website 12blessings.org.
But how many members are you?
Right now,
Yeah.
there's not that many. There's only like 150 plus.
Oh, I was
So,
okay.
but we need at least 150,000 plus.
At least.
Um,
Okay, stand by,
to
my
make a
friend. You and
change.
I have to take our final break, and we will help you all we can. You know, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem, right?
Exactly.
Stand by. Exonation, our guest this hour, WAJID HASSAN, and his website is wajidauthor.com. I must say, my guest tonight makes a lot of sense. We'll be back on the other side of this break as we wrap up this hour here in the X Zone from our broadcast studios and corporate offices in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
Disaster is your favorite tune. If it makes you feel better, get it out of your system and tell us about them. There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We could go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We all a part of God's great big family. And the truth, you know, love is all we need. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making.
And welcome back. That is We Are the World, and that was done by USA for Africa. What a song. Totally fitting for today's world. Welcome back, Wajid. Great talking to you again.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, that needs to be replayed again to the new generation.
It certainly
That
does.
song.
Yeah. Okay, so I understand that you yourself have had a UFO experience. Would you be able to share it with us?
Yeah, I did. When I was 18 years old in London, I had this premonition that I needed to be somewhere,
Yeah.
and I couldn't. On the third day, I couldn't. Something was prompting me to be somewhere, and finally, I got a map out of England, and I traced over it psychically, and I knew I had to be at this place near Stonehenge, a place just outside of Salisbury. I didn't know why, but I did, and so I didn't tell anybody, and I took the Greyhound with the coach from London to Salisbury on that Friday, and I knew I had to be there at this place called Clearwater, just outside of Salisbury. And I got to Salisbury at 10:30 and walked these country lanes in the dark till close to midnight. I hopped over this fence near a little lake, and exactly at midnight I looked up and I saw this bright white circular disc move from the west to the east, and then I waited till 1:30, and then another disc-shaped object came from the south to the north, and to me it signified the sign of the cross. Of course, the sign of the cross is much more older than Christianity. Egyptians used it. It's a sign of, the resurrection of the soul to divinity. And then exactly at 3 a.m., this much larger spacecraft came over about 150 meters over me and stopped. And then this flash of white light came out of the hull, and I was filled with this tremendous amount of beautiful spiritual energies. And how long it lasted, I don't know. But it gave me this feeling that the people who manned this particular craft, were not only technically advanced, but also extremely spiritually advanced. And I think it wasn't just that experience. I mean, I kept it to myself for many years because, you know, I didn't want to, first of all, it was very personal to me. And second of all, I didn't want to be addressed as a crackpot. But now I felt I could, you know, put that experience in my book to let people know that there are beings that are watching over us that have more love for us than we have for each other. I mean, we're known as a barbaric, warlike race. And so the hope, again, is not only the Mother Earth raising her vibrations, but also these cosmic beings are sending us spiritual energy, are beaming it down to us. And all we have to do is think about them, and this tremendous energy will go through us. It's a tangible energy, Rob. It's not something, it's the same energy that the Master Jesus used to raise the dead, you know, to heal the sick.
I was just going to say, it sounds as if it was a spiritual or a baptism that happened to you.
It was an initiation.
Yeah.
It was a baptism.
Yeah.
It was a cleansing of my soul.
Wow.
And it you know, it really affected me over the years. And I think the reason they did that was so that when I wrote the book, to let people know with who have open minds that this was a truthful experience. Of course, I had another experience with two other guys, another UFO experience out by the Mojave Desert, which I put in the book. But it was to let people know that we're not alone, and like you said, the only solution is a spiritual solution, not the religious solution that's caused nothing but horror and wars, but as the spiritual solution, regardless of race, color, creed, or religion, and sending out this light, this beautiful pranic energy that comes from the sun. And these beings are so advanced that they can pick up our thoughts. They have complete dossier of every man, woman, child, animal, rock on the planet. They've been observing us for 80 million years, and all we have to do is just think. And the speed of thought through the body, I think, is 600 miles an hour, but in free space, it's been calculated to be like 4 million times the speed of light. And so, I'll just give you a quick analogy. I mean, just basic terrestrial science with a GPS now, they can pinpoint anybody with a cell phone around the planet. That's just basic terrestrial science. So if you amplify that a couple of million years, it's not far-fetched to say, they could have us totally online, and all we have to do is telepathically ask for this energy. And that's another aspect of this raising of consciousness, this change.
Well, let me ask you something, because we're running out of time really fast over here. Is it possible that we humans have religion all wrong? That the religion that, for example, I'm Anglican and Protestant, and there's Catholics, there's Hebrews, there's Muslims. Is it possible that we have it all wrong? That instead of looking at the way that we were taught religion is that it's not truly spiritual?
I think that it's not the religions. I think it's the dogma that was created on religions. I think people like the Master Jesus, Lord Buddha, and Lord Krishna were highly, I believe, extraterrestrial angels that came and taught the way. And again, it's going back to the basic spiritual laws. And so all the religions say the same thing about thou shalt not kill and be kind to your neighbor.
Right.
But how many people are actually following the spiritual laws?
Not many. Not many.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
And so it's a case of, I think the greatest religion now is service to others. I believe that will be the religion of the future. And there's different ways of service. I give to charity. I personally help drug addicts and alcoholics, and I also send energy out. And the third aspect is what everybody on this planet, man, woman, child, can do to help save not only the race, but to help heal Mother Earth
Yeah.
of the terrible atrocities that we've committed to her over these last 18 million years.
You know, I would love to have the opportunity of meeting Jesus and saying, so what do you think, you know, what do you think about the Vatican? What do you think about the churches who are so rich, yet there's still hungry people on this planet?
Yeah, I know.
You
It's
know,
just
here you've got Jesus.
he must
Yeah.
be so sad
Yeah.
when he sees this. But again, the 12 blessings were transmissions that Dr. King received through the Master Jesus as a New Age concept, which was an extension on the Sermon of the Mount. And so he hasn't left us. He's always been with us. But I think the Christian Church and other religions will have to change. It's not a case of might. They will have to change for the new spiritual pioneers, the younger generation that are coming up.
I think that the churches should be forced to sell all their gold, all
Totally.
their, everything
Yes.
that makes them so rich and so powerful, and give that money to the poor, give that money to the needy, give
Yep.
that money where it will do the best for mankind, not just the church.
Yeah, and stop the billions of,
Yeah.
dollars on wars and profits. Stop all that.
Yeah.
But it's the thing is, again, this is a ray of light. This is an aspect of truth that things are going to get better. So your listeners need to understand that we just need to roll up our spiritual sleeves, make a little effort, and we can make a difference for the planet.
WAJID, I want to thank you ever so much for joining us tonight, and I look forward to the next time you and I meet back here in the X Zone, and thank you for all you do.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you for all you do as well.
It's my great pleasure. And X Zone Nation, if you'd like to find out more about my guest this hour, WAJID HASSAN, visit WAJIDauthor.com. I'll be back on the other side of this break as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. Whatever you do, don't go away, guys.
Day by day, that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We are a part of God's great big family. And the truth, love is all we